Listen, I've just jumped on here just for a little quick video. I want to talk about a book that I found today. I was going to say in my library, but I don't have a library. I've only got a bookshelf, right? So on my bookshelf, I found this book today, and this is a book that I have not read in probably 20 years. But I started my business back in 1985, and in 1985, I was just trying to find as much knowledge as I possibly could about the photographic industry. Now, I was fortunate enough to win my first Kodak Gold Award in 1987, and I met some phenomenal photographers. And one of the photographers that I met in 1987 was a guy called Charles Green, and Charles was a photographer from London, very successful, incredibly suave, incredibly sophisticated, you know. He was just one of these guys who just oozed charm and oozed quality, you know. And Charles brought out a book in 1987, and it took me a long time to buy this book because I really found it hard to justify the price. The book that in question is this one here. It's called Shooting for Gold by Charles Green, and it's 122 pages. That's Charles there, and his book Going for Gold. It's 122 pages with literally no pictures apart from a couple of line drawings, and it was £85. Now, you know, if I can tell you how much £85 was back in 1985, it was a hell of a lot of money. And so this was a huge thing for me to buy. Now, I remember when I bought this, I read it 20 times. I went back to it again and again and again to pick up all these little golden gems of wisdom that are in this book. And as I was looking at my bookshelves today, looking for something else, in fact, I discovered this kind of, not even nothing on the spine, it was just sitting there. And I picked it up and I brought it with me down here. I'm sitting in my camper van just now. I'm in a campsite near Tring, down the south of England. And I'm going to visit one of my mentor studios tomorrow. And I've just read it through again for the 21st time. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. There's so many little gems of wisdom in this book. But I do wonder, if it was a fiver or a tenner, would I have even bothered reading it? Or would I have taken the information that's on this book as seriously as I did? Because it was quite a fundamental thing in my career, was actually reading this book. It's incredible. It's got some photography stuff which I didn't bother reading because, of course, even although some of the principles are still the same, I know all that kind of stuff. But there's stuff here in the contents. Gold is my favourite colour. In the beginning, success, the road to success for Charles. Changes you, about how to change you, communicating with your clients, your products and all the rest of it. And then as we go further on, we've got things like pricing for profit, creating desire, selling and marketing, all that sort of stuff. It's really fantastic information. And I've just read it again, and there's some amazing things in this book. Let me just, there's something here. Let me just read that there. Whenever there's a gathering of photographers, one can always hear them talk about how little money there is in photography. What changes, eh? We love what we're doing, but nobody becomes rich from doing photography. People in our area don't spend money on photography. Photography is a luxury and nobody can afford luxury nowadays. We're still getting the same stuff. This is 1987. These and more are some of the comments most frequently heard. However, these comments are totally incorrect. If you have at times thought or made comments, you're wrong. There is money in photography. There's more money than you can ever imagine in your wildest dreams, and it can be yours. Above all, there is nothing wrong or immoral in earning money by being a good photographer. I love it. And then there's stuff here, success. What does success mean? It means different things to different people, of course. Then there's the road to success, and there's the 5 Ds: determination, dedication, discipline, desire and devotion, which is very, very interesting. And then there was a bit that I read earlier here which is great. So if you feel that you're not achieving the success you deserve, some or all of the following categories may be wrong and need to be changed. You are wrong, your image is wrong, your product is wrong, your clients are wrong, your selling is wrong, your technique is wrong, and your presentation is wrong. If one or more of these elements is wrong, is it at all surprising that you've not achieved the success that you deserve? So start right now and change all these wrongs into rights, starting with the most important one of all, you. And he goes on to talk about different styles of people. You get the incredibly positive person who's well dressed, who's well turned out. He gives a professional, positive vibe off to their customers, who's all, gets a, how are you today? I feel fantastic, right? That's the kind of person you want to be in business. A confident, well presented, great first impression type of guy. The second guy, bit more pessimistic, how you doing? How you doing today? Not bad, not bad. Are you busy? Well, it's not bad, it could be better, and that's the number twos. And then you got the number threes, and the number threes, they've lost it, they've gone, they've given up, they're the ones that go, oh fantastic, you got 10 sessions booked in the diary for the weekend. Yeah, but they probably won't turn up, and even if they do turn up, I don't know, I'm going to be exhausted at the end of the day, and you can't be doing that. You need to be a number one. So this is all brilliant stuff. I love this. I'm going to go through this again and again. So I've read it 21 times now. I'm going to read it more. It's brilliant. I'm going to share this with all my studios. It's just to give them an insight about where I learn my stuff. So when I got this book, I made a decision that I was going to be the most expensive photographer in my area, because he talks about this, and I always have been. And not only that, when I went to do the mentoring, I decided I was going to be the most expensive mentor. And the reason I did that was because when people pay real money for something, they will do it. If they pay nothing for it, or very little for it, they probably won't do it. Anyway, listen, I've been Kenny Martin. This is just a quick video. I'll be back with some more great content soon. In the meantime, let's all go for gold. We'll see you next time. Bye.